regarding ASA, right? When you talk about ASA, stands for Adaptive Security Appliance. It is a decade-old generation of Cisco Firewall. ASA product line normally starts with 5500 series. We have 5504, 5505, 55010, 5520, 5540, 5580. So I will share you one data sheet, right? So on your free time, you can go with all the product lines of it. But the whole idea is, the different models that you take of the ASA firewall, the only thing it differs is the throughput that these firewalls are going to offer in terms of bandwidth consumption, the amount of bandwidth based traffic that the firewall can handle, inbound and outbound, and also the processors, then also the number of interfaces that the firewall has in order to connect your devices. So the way you implement on a 5500 and 5505 and a 5580, the way you implement the configuration and the way you manage your policies, I mean, they are going to be the same. So your configuration syntax, your configuration methods, your engineering does not change between the model numbers. What changes is basically the hardware specification, not the logical implementation concepts. So talking about ASA, so basically ASA actually came up from a concept. So that before ASA, so Cisco was having its own firewall called as PIX, right? A packet internet exchange, and PIX was generally doing all the firewalling capabilities, right? Filtering traffic in and out, monitoring the traffic flow, taking decisions based on the security policies, what you write. So basically it was, you can say, the first gen firewall, which was converted to second gen. And the second gen firewall, what happened is, it became stateful, right? So stateful, basically, you can say first gen firewall are basically your packet filter firewall, which inspects traffic only based on layer 3 and layer 4, properties like IP address and port numbers. But in case of stateful, what happens is it can maintain one very important table called as a connection table. So connection table normally keeps your session information. So it keeps your session info, right? So which particular user has traveled through the firewall to which destination, what was the source IP of the packet, what was the destination IP of the packet, what was the port numbers, right, the traffic was having. So all those information, it is maintained in a specific table called as a connection table, also called as a user session information. So that was there in the second gen firewall in the stateful nature. And nowadays what we have is, after second gen, we call the firewalls as next gen, right? So next gen firewall has got inbuilt, IPS capability, inbuilt malware, or you can say anti-malware detection capabilities. You have URL filtering capabilities. You have got inspection, which can happen based on content ID. Inspection can happen based on application ID, user profile. So the things has really changed, right? So I mean, not only that, even device profile. So you can actually inspect a particular traffic going through a firewall, not only based on IP addresses or port numbers, but also with multiple other criterias. For example, I cannot send traffic to internet using, let us say Google Chrome as my application browser, but I can send the traffic towards internet using, let us say, Mozilla as a browser-based application, right? Or even content ID. So you can access, Facebook.com, but you cannot use the chat feature, or you cannot use the messenger feature of Facebook.com, right? Device profile. You can access a corporate network by using your laptop, but you cannot access the corporate network devices using personal appliances like phones or iPads or something like that. So you have got multiple ways in the next gen firewall to actually filter your traffic. You can think of multiple sources of filtering. So keep this in mind, that the first gen firewall is packet filtering firewall. It works in layer 3, layer 4. Second gen firewall are becoming stateful, so they can maintain a connection table of the user session information. So basically, in the session information, also called as a connection table, it maintains the user source IP, destination IP, and the port numbers. And in the next gen firewall, for example, Palo Alto, we can think about Checkpoint, you can think about Cisco FTD and whatnot, Fortinet, Dell Sonic, Barracuda firewalls, Redwire, McAfee. There are multiple, right? So all those are classified as next gen. The reason being, they have got advanced way of implementing the solution, along with stateful along with inspecting layer 3, layer 4 properties. So talking back, I mean, Cisco have developed ASA, but predecessor of ASA was PIX as the firewalling device. But PIX was lacking, I mean, though it was doing the stateful way of packet filtering, but PIX was lacking with one important VPN solution. So it was supporting IPsec VPN. It was having capability of IPsec VPN. It was having capability of L2TP based VPNs. It was having capability of PPTP, right? But what was lacking in PIX firewall was capability of SSL VPN. So normally this SSL VPN became the most important VPN solution for remote access users, right? For example, you be anywhere in the world, I mean, you can use this remote access solution using SSL VPN to connect to your corporate networks. I will discuss these things when the time comes. So at the end of the day, I mean, the PIX was not supporting SSL VPN or basically remote access solution, because of which, PIX or Cisco actually acquired one company called as Altiga. All right. And Altiga was developing, one product called as VPN Concentrator. So this VPN Concentrator appliance, I mean, it supports all types of VPN capabilities. I mean, it has got SSL VPN, IPsec, you name it. I mean, IPsec all flavors, like IKEV1, IKEV2, L2TP, V2, V3, PPTP. I mean, get VPN. Talk about site to site, any sort of deployment scenarios. VPN Concentrator used to support. So now what ASA has done is, I mean, ASA is basically, it's a combo of two things, okay? It's a combo of PIX, plus it's a combo of your VPN Concentrator appliance from Altiga, and they brought together. So now the ASA Firewalls supports everything. I mean, it can do the firewalling property, and it can also do all types of VPN property, including that it supports all types of your routing protocol choices that you can deploy. Right, any routing protocol, including static route, static and default route, RIP, EIGRP, OSPF, and also BGP. Right, so all those protocol deployments are supported nowadays with your ASA firewalls and also the next gen firewalls. But PIX was lacking capability of BGP, by the way. If you have anytime worked with PIX, if you have worked, I mean, that's saying PIX was not supporting BGP, but ASA introduced BGP into it. All right. So the basic idea is, ASA became a combo of PIX and VPN Concentrator. I mean, it supports all types of VPN, all types of routing solutions, and that's it. I mean, there is the evolvement which came up. Now, when you talk about ASA, by default, I've told you that ASA is generally, it's a layer 3 device by default. So it's a layer 3 router by default. You can think in that way, right? So it's a layer 3 router by default. Okay, and it has got all the routing functionalities, that a normal router can do. I told you that it can support all kinds of routing like static and all kinds of dynamic routing protocol. The basic difference what comes up between a router and an ASA based firewall is this. Okay, so when you take a router, for example, and when you connect, let us say, two interface of a router, and you take, let us say this is port 1 and port 2, and you have got some users over here, say A, some users over here, say B. So this is a 10 dot series subnet, so 10.1.10/24. This is, say, 21.10/24. I mean, what the router does is, I mean, you place an IP address on the interface from the respective network, and the router keeps a routing table, and it will have the entries as directly connected routes. You have the 10 dot series subnet over here, 20 over here, as directly connected via the respective port 1 and 2. Now, what happens is, if A wants to communicate the trafficking towards B, or vice versa from B to A, when the packet is sourced, let us say, from any thing of 10 dot, let's say, just for fun, and destination is going towards, let us say, 20 dot series. So what happens is the packet goes towards router takes decision based on the routing table, based on the destination IP of the packet. So if he has a route regarding 20 dot series network from a routing table point of view, then the packet is routed by following the routing entry. If the router do not have the destination IP in the routing table, so don't have an entry regarding the destination IP matching in the routing table, the packet will be discarded at the ingress interface itself. All right. So the whole idea of routing is like, if it knows the destination based on its routing table entries, the packets can be routed to and fro. If it does not know, the packets are discarded. That is the generic idea of what is a router. I think all of you know that. But if you take an ASA, right, and you connect, let us say, to interface of your ASA with two devices, again, say we have A over here and B over here, same story. We have got 10 dot subnet. We have got 20 dot series subnet. All right. You place an IP address, let us say 10.1.1.10 on the interface of your ASA. You place here port 1, port 2, by the way. You place here 20.1.1.10/24 on this interface. It also maintains a routing table like a router. So the ASA says, oh, I have a connected routes. I have got 10 series via, as directly connected via port number 1. I got 20 dot series subnet connected via port number 2. It maintains a routing entry like a routing table. But what happens is, by default, your ASA does not allow traffic through the firewall. So I'll talk to you regarding this. Is a very important concept called as a through traffic versus to traffic. We will discuss this in a moment. Hold on for that. But by default, what happens is, though you have the routing entry here for 10 and 20, but can 10 dot series communicate with 20 dot series? The answer is no, right? Though the routing entry is there. Or can 20 talk to 10? No, it cannot talk. So what it needs a very important concept, that though I have a routing table entry regarding the networks, but can they communicate through me? The answer is no. They cannot talk to me regarding this routing stuff. By default, is not allowed. No packets can travel from A to B or B to A right now. So how do you make things happen then? Right? That is the default nature of firewall. So firewall does not allow anything by default. That's a good property, right? So on ASA, as compared to router, okay, so what we do on the router, let's talk about that first. On the router, let us say you go to an interface say F0/1. You activate the port with a command called as no shut, and then you give an IP address. You say IP add, you give 10.1.1.10, and then you give the mask, right, which is say 255.255.255.0. That's it you define, nothing else. So go to the interface, activate the port, give an IP address with the respective mask, and that's it. It builds a routing table. That's what the port of a router needs, right? But when you talk about ASA, this is router, okay, I should say this is router. So on ASA, what we need is a different approach. You go to the interface, even the interface conventions are same. Generally, on the ASAs, by the way, these ports are your gigabit Ethernet ports. So all the firewall interfaces by default, I mean, they support at least 1 Gbps. All right. So they are all 1 gig interface. So you'll not have F here, you'll have gig ports. Okay, say G0/1. Then you say no shut, activate the port. You give an IP address as per the requirement. Now there are two choices over here. If you are defining a classful IP, okay, if you're defining a classful IP, there is no need to define the mask. Okay, if you are defining classless IP, then mask is required. So what are the classful IPs? Those IPs which has the default CIDR based on the respective classes. So if you want to talk about class A, class B, class C, right, any IP that you are defining with the default CIDR, they are classful. But whereas in case of classless, they have the VLSM based concept, right? So you define the respective IP address with the mask, and then there are two additional components that you must define on the ASA. Along with IP address, along with no shut, there is two additional components, and it is a required component. What are those? You have to define a name to the interface using a command called as nameif, and you should define something called as a security level to the interface, right? So make sure that on ASA you define two additional parameters, which is a required parameter, required component on the ASA, which is not required component for the routers. So nameif, basically it is the name of the interface that you're referring to, and security level. There are two things, okay? As of now, concentrate on this.